Hey, how are you? It is Monday, April 13th. I'm Mel Robbins. I'm the best-selling author of The 5-Second Rule and the host of the daytime syndicated talk show here in the United States called The Mel Robbins Show. It's on 5 days a week. We are airing all the way through September. A lot of people call me America's life coach, but now that we are entering week 5 of the quarantine for the coronavirus outside of Boston, Massachusetts, I am my family's worst nightmare. And I'm really excited that you are here. Do me a favor and just tell me where you're tuning in from in the comments, whether you're watching on Facebook or not Instagram. We do not broadcast live on Instagram because it's really impossible to bring somebody on a live stream with us. But tell me in the comments below where you're watching from. And whether you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or YouTube, welcome. This is a broadcast that I do every day at noon as a way to help you stay connected and to give you advice and simple research-backed tools that you can use to make your day a little better. And today we're going to go to Austin, Texas, where Wendy has a question. And it's a question that I am sure you're going to be able to relate to. Her question is about a college student that she loves who has come home. College has been canceled, and now she is worried about her college student's mental health. And so if there's somebody in your life, a student, a kid in particular, but anybody who you're concerned about their self-care, about their mental state, about whether or not they are depressed, this is a really important question for you to not only listen to, but the advice is really important too. So let's go to Wendy in Austin, Texas.
Hey, Mel Robbins, this is Wendy McGlamory. I'm coming to you from Austin, Texas. My question for you is, how can we best support and encourage our 22-year-old college senior? We packed her up and now she's home. She's on task, it seems to be, for her education. What I'm most concerned about is her self-care. She's sleeping incredibly late into the day. Her sleep cycle is really bad. She's not exercising at all. She's eating rather poorly. She hasn't made her bed. She's sort of sleeping in a mess in her room. She has not unpacked. So we're just trying to figure out the best tips and tools that we can try to just encourage her, love on her, and support her during this time. Thank you.
Oh, Wendy, I love the question. I hate the issue, but I love the question. We have 2 college-age students here at home with us as well. Like your daughter, they had college canceled. So our daughters are 21 and 19, but unlike your daughter, they did not have graduation canceled. They did not have senior year canceled, which is a whole nother ball of loss to have to deal with. And so here's number 1. The hardest thing in the world as a parent is to see one of your kids struggling. And even harder than seeing them struggle is what you're going to have to do in order to love her, as you said, and support her. And what you're going to have to do at this moment in time is figure out how to let her help herself. Because I want to put this in perspective for you. When you get college canceled, when you're a teenager, when you're a college student, and you suddenly find yourself quarantined back home with mom and dad, this is the worst nightmare of your life. Because not only have you lost your friends, not only have you lost your college experience, but you have also lost your independence. And there is nothing that will backfire more than if you try to push her, or you start making suggestions, or you start to do what all of us moms do when our kids are struggling, swoop in and fix it. And the other thing that you need to manage is there are going to be small ways in which you're going to want to make comments, and those comments can backfire and can come out as a slam. And so the secret here is figuring out what kind of support she needs and wants, and how to deliver that support so it is supportive, not nagging and oppressive. So here's some things I want you to think about. Number one, the number one thing you need to deal with is your daughter just simulating dorm life at home, or is she depressed? Because when you tell me that your daughter is sleeping halfway through the day, that she is sleeping in a mess of a room, she is in PJs or sweats all day, that to me sounds a little bit like dorm life. When you and I are not at the dorm, our kids are doing things that would mortify us. But they walk around in their PJs. They're up till 4 o'clock in the morning. They're sleeping until 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. They're partying way too much. They're on their phones with their friends. They're playing the music too loud. They're not exercising. They're eating like shit. And you have to remember that right now, April 13th, she probably would have been living like that in her dorm. But because she has just experienced a massively destabilizing change in her life, and she is likely grieving the loss of graduation, the loss of her independence, the loss of her senior year, the loss of all of those expectations, I also want you to make sure she's not depressed. So depression, as you know, is a mood disorder where you feel overwhelming sadness and a sense of loss. And so I would take the extra step before we jump into the ways in which you can figure out what support she needs and how to support her. I'd just take the extra step, given the amount of loss that she's just experienced, to make sure that she's not depressed. She's just simulating dorm life at home. So I would, number one, even though she's graduated and school's kind of canceled, although she's doing classes, I'd call the student health services. I'd call the dean of students office. Oh, I guess you wouldn't call, you'd email, right? Because nobody's there. I don't know. I would reach out to them and I would get their advice on a checklist to look for. The second thing I would do, as weird as it sounds, because she's 22 years old, if she's not got a primary care doctor, call the line at the pediatrician's office, and the nurses that typically answer questions at pediatricians' offices are rock stars. And so I'm sure they can give you some warning signs. So now I want to give you a couple strategies that you can use in order to be sneaky about giving your daughter the support she needs. So one thing that you can do is you can say to her, you know, it's been a couple weeks since you've been home, and I know that it's just the worst situation that we're in, and it's not fair, and you miss your friends. But even though you're still technically in college, you still don't seem like yourself. You're sleeping a lot. You seem more disorganized than usual. What's going on with you? How are you feeling? And you can even say, because, you know, social distancing is one thing, but I really am starting to get concerned that you're socially isolating. What do you feel? And so I would just ask her point blank, this does not seem like you. What are you feeling? And the second thing I would do is I would say that you've started to realize how much she's just had to lose and how sad and frustrated she must be to lose her independence, to lose time with her friends, to lose graduation, to probably feel wildly uncertain about what the next chapter of her life looks like. And so I would ask her about what she's feeling. And then the best thing that I've found with my kids is I have asked them what support they need. And one way you can kind of get into this without it being really deep is at dinner every night, I would go around the table with your family and I'd say, oh, well, what does everybody have coming up tomorrow and what support do you need? And as you talk about your routine, Wendy, ask your daughter, what routine do you need in order to get everything done? You're doing a dynamite job with your classes, but what routine do you need in order to take care of your mood? and your mental health, and making sure you're getting in time to see your friends, at least over FaceTime. Because what you really want to be doing is getting her talking about what she's feeling rather than you making suggestions about what she's doing. Because if you can get your daughter to start talking about how she's feeling, that gives you a window to open up and say, not this is what we're going to do to fix it, but what would you like to do to address it? And how can I support you in addressing it? She's lived independently for you for 4 years. Based on the sites that she's on and talking to her friends, she's probably very well aware of how sad and the loss that she is. And she's probably also aware that she needs a routine and she needs to exercise. But the key is you not suggesting it. The key is get her to talk about how she's feeling, and then ask her what support she thinks she needs, and ask her what she wants you to do to support her. Now, I'm going to give you a couple ideas in case she says, I don't know what to do. I just feel sad. If she says that, number one, she needs a routine. But again, when you suggest it, you got to say, I need you to create it, but I can support you in it. What time do you think you should get up? Do you want to exercise? Do you think that would make a difference? What time do you think you should do it? So you're going to ask leading questions, because again, the key with this age, and it's the hardest thing for us parents to do, is we cannot go in and fix this. This is an enormous moment in time where you can teach your daughter the coping skills to be able to pull herself out of a slump. You can teach your daughter how to create a routine for herself. You can teach her to think about what she's feeling and what she can do to address it. And then your job is to give her the emotional support in helping her do it. Now, here's the final thing. So my daughters have all taken on projects. We've got Kendall, who's really gotten into her music. Sawyer has ordered some stuff and she's started painting again, and she's journaling again. And they have both taken on this moment in time to exercise every day, to not drink at night. They're turning this in basically to like some sort of health. I just got to notice that my computer's going to die. Hold on. There we go. So my daughters have taken this moment of time to turn this into a moment where they're really taking care of themselves, and they're watching what they're eating, and they're trying to get in good shape, and they're not drinking that much at night because of just how unhealthy their drinking life had been in college. And I'm really proud of them. But I almost caught myself doing something that we moms do and we don't realize it. So last night, we were all watching the Hunger Games. We've been doing these movie marathons, and we had dinner. It had been an hour and a half, and Kendall came downstairs from being in a class for her music program, and she immediately opened up the cupboard and started taking out chips and all kinds of stuff. It's like 9:30 at night, because again, that's what you do in dorm life, right? And I know her goals. And I almost said, are you sure you want to be eating that chip? And I stopped myself, because again, let's go back to the very beginning. Your kid's worst nightmare is to lose their independence. And so the last thing they want is the oppressive feeling of having mom nagging you all the time, even if it's a nag that we feel is in supportive of their goals. So reel those kind of comments back in and let them make mistakes. Now, when she was done eating, I said to her, can I ask you a question? And she said, yeah. I said, I know you're working really hard, and I know you beat yourself up when you then blow what you said you were going to do. If I see you reaching for something, do you want me to say something, or should I just keep your mouth shut? And she said, keep your mouth shut. I'm like, okay. So again, Wendy, do what you're doing, love her up, make sure she's safe, distinguish between dorm life and depression, get that checklist in place, and then you're going to either, hey, you're not like yourself. Are you okay? What's going on? How are you feeling? Like, just get her to talk about her feelings. Keep in mind that she's grieving a lot of loss right now. and then ask her what she thinks she needs. And then ask her to tell you what support she needs from you. If she says, I have no idea, then again, ask, would you like me to give you some suggestions? Because she may or may not. You've got to let her take the lead with you nudging and supporting her all the way. I hope that helps. I'm practicing it every day here. There's some days I'm better at it than others. So also give yourself a little bit of a break, okay? We're doing the best that we can. Thank you, Wendy. And if you're wondering, I'd love to get a question to Mel. I'd love to talk to Mel. There's something that's bothering me. There's an issue in my family. The easiest way to join me in a live video is go to email. Send an email to our team, askmel@melrobbins.com, askmel@melrobbins.com. Send us a description of the question. If you can do a short video, fantastic. Get us your contact information, and someone from my team may be reaching out to you to schedule you for a Zoom coaching session with me for free so that I can help you in this unbelievable moment of time. I hope you had an incredible holiday weekend with your family. I am here every single weekday to make this a great week and to give you small things that you can do in order to make each day a little bit better. In case nobody else tells you today, I want to tell you, I love you. I believe in you. I know we're going to get through this together. I know brighter days are ahead. And in the meantime, if there's anything that I can do to support you or your family in a better way, you just let us know. Have an awesome day.